Hello, everybody. Oh, none of my things are on. That's fun, isn't it? There we go. That's better. How are we all? Happy Monday. We are back. We are live. We are going for it. We're doing it. Happy Monday. Muster the Rohirrim. Indeed! There has been an exciting announcement of the contents of the War of the Rohirrim next edition Warhammer Middle-earth strategy battle games box. So there's new Warriors of Rohan on the way, and one would assume that there will be new Riders of Rohan as well. One would assume that. And maybe, just maybe, there will be new Rohan Royal Guard. That's what I really, really want. That's the main thing I want, right? 15, 20, 31, 37, 45, 3, 4, 24. So the models painted tally over here is a little bit inconsistent in that it should say that. Is Josh excited about MESBG? I am. I'm very excited about it. There's a lot of potential there for some really cool stuff. I always like a new edition. Because you never know what could happen. It could be that the game gets a lot of eyes on it, which is fantastic because MESBG deserves it. The new Rohan models look stunning. I might even use them for a not Nazgul-led army. A not Nazgul-led army. Maybe for an army of Rohan? Do you imagine lots of uninteresting resculpts? Possibly. I mean, I think with MESBG it's slightly different, right? In that things like the Warriors of Rohan have been around for how long? Since they came out. So that would be what? 2004? This is a 20-year-old model. And like, that you're not going to see a scale creep, and you're also not going to see a completely different loadout or anything on them. In fact, even the picture shows that it's basically the same as this box that we currently have. They're just updated and slightly nicer. So it doesn't mean you're not going to use your old ones. Whereas when you upgrade Astaroth, you literally just have to put your old Astaroth in the bin because the new one is the right sculpt size. 22 years old. Yeah. There you go. They get a pass because we'll be better models. Yeah. To me, yeah. They also do that. But like, also, like, there is new stuff coming alongside it. Because that's my main thing at the moment, is do all the resculpting and do all the redoing that you want to do, but also throw new stuff into the bargain, rather than resculpting stuff and just removing things that you that is old, that you just don't want to do anymore. So like the Blood Angels are the best example of that, right? They've redone all the characters and just got rid of all the ones they didn't do, and all the Dreadnoughts, and all your old Death Company, and all your old Sanguinary Guard, and all your Sanguinary Priests with jump backs. They're all gone. It's just, you know, eradicated from the world. Whereas MESBG, as far as I know, they've never really got rid of any models. It's always kind of still been in there. So like all the versions of Theoden that there have been, there's been loads of them, but you can still take them all in the game. There's still, like, you can take Theoden, or you can take Theoden on horse. You can take Theoden in armor. You can take Theoden in armor on horse. You can take Theoden in armor on armored horse, and so on and so forth. So there's a model for all the different war gear perspectives. Whereas what 40k has been doing is just removing things at random, and then just making characters taller. Because you won't get, again, you won't get that with MESBG because they're not allowed to make things taller. It has to be at that scale. So those Warriors of Rohan aren't all going to be on 32mm bases. Do you see what I mean? And the characters that are coming with it are new. That being said, if this is what they're going to do across every single game, because again, I'm waiting to see what happens with Slaves to Darkness in Age of Sigmar, because if Age of Sigmar's Slaves to Darkness and they get a couple of model releases and it is just redesigned models, that is a legitimate platform with which to criticize, and I will do so. Hello, Baradon 283. Do you think they'd do the 1 to 3 part models for basic warriors? I guess. I think it'll be more like, obviously we don't know anything at the moment, but I think you'll probably see it be like this, it'll be like the clan rats, in that they might be in 2 to 3 parts, but rather than it just be a model plus a shield, it'll be like half a body, I would guess. Is what they'll do. I think they will change. I think they will change much about the game core rules. No, I don't think they will. I think they're just tidying it up, is what they've said. They're going to get rid of the things that nobody uses. Is what I think they've said. So I think there'll be stuff like some of the in the way mechanics and stuff might change, but I think the core rules mechanics of the game are going to be staying exactly the same. Good morning. Will you be doing a paint tutorial on Fulgrim Transfigured? One day I will. He's built. He's over there. You can't see him. One day I will be, once I get a moment. Well, once I get a couple of days moments. But I'm a very busy boy all of the time. I'm timed out now until the end of October. And painting a model of Fulgrim Transfigured size and intricacy is not something that you can just bang out in an afternoon. Good morning, Colonel / afternoon. How you doing? There's no. You don't need to apologise for being late, Colonel. Absolutely not. Don't you worry about that. What you do need to do, everybody, including Colonel, is like the stream, because that would be very, very nice and kind of you, and it's a free way to support the channel. I would very much appreciate that. And if you're not already, please do hit that subscribe button. If EC get released with a plastic Fulgrim, we'd need that tutorial ASAP. Yeah, I mean, look. So if Emperor's Children happens with a plastic Fulgrim, I suspect they will probably send it to me. They might not, but I suspect they probably will. At which point, it's a very relevant video to make. Do you see what I mean? The reason I need to be not busy for a Fulgrim Transfigured video is that I know it'll do the same thing that Magnus the Red did, in that a lot of people want to see it and no one will watch it. So it'll be like, oh, all that effort, and it's a bad video. Hello, Jason. Good lad, Colonel. Thank you, James. Hello. Is there no late fine? No, I don't have late fines here. It's not even something I could impose, even if I wanted to. But yes, you guys are being very kind about the Skaven. The Galvanier is a beaut. Thank you. My one, I assume. And the Storm Vermin vid was so good. Thank you, Thomas. Greetings, Ionis Cryptborn. How you doing? So, I have been hard at work, doing lots of kill team stuff. So as you may have seen on Saturday, I put the video out that showed you everything that I had finished so far. We had, of course, done all the Vespid. I just need to put some tufts on those bases. But there's a Vespid. And we've done half of the Aquilons. There they are. And then I've also done all of the terrain, but I haven't done the equipment pack. I might do it this week if I get a moment, but I don't know. It is 30 different models. 30 different bits of equipment that are in that pack, so it's a lot. So we shall see. Now today I've been working on the other half of the Aquilons models. They are now at what I would call a Warhipster battle ready, as you can see. There they are. So now it's just going to be a case of highlighting and all that kind of thing. So those videos will all be coming out to you this week, which is super cool and exciting. So yeah, for those who want to see it, teeny little Vespid drone. And I think you guys are going to really like the Vespid video, because it might be one of the easiest videos I've ever put together. So, yeah, I've been doing a lot of Kill Team stuff. Today we're going to be building because I did all of the buildings, all of the ruins and terrain in one day. I really hurt my wrist doing that. And I've also hurt my shoulder. Same shoulder, this time, my right hand, my right arm. So, I am red berets, or are they maroon? They are red, of course they are. It is a red beret. That is Flesh Tearer's red, with Reichland Flesh Shade over the top of it. So, I'm going to build up some Space Marines today. We're going to start with Tigurius. I know we said we're going to build some scouts. We are going to do that. But we're going to build Tigurius first, because I need to build him. And we're going to hang out and we're going to chat. Built a Master Molder, Arch Warlock, Brood Terror, and Thanquol yesterday. Far too many rats to be painting. Oh, I know your pain. I've still got rats left to do. But let's dive in, shall we, to Chief Librarian Tigurius and get him built up. Should be a nice, relaxing, less physical day for us. Because yeah, I have messed up my arm. That is the wrong set of clippers. There we go. How many rats do you have left? I have 2 Doom Flayers, 3 Warp Spark Weapon Battery, and the Warp Grinder. Left to do. So yeah, quite a lot. But that's another week's worth of work, basically. And I am but one man. Opinion on new Rohan models. Sorry, just join if you like. You've talked about it. Can't wait to see new Rohirrim riders. Also, my Theoden. Can't wait to lead them in the battle. Yeah, I like them. There's not really much else to say at this point. Doesn't it look a scout? It was a scout at one point. I'll get to the scouts. Let me just build this one first, otherwise I'll forget to do it. Should be a sandy colour beret. Well, I thought about that, but then I thought that's way too much sandiness, because the guns are sandy, the armor is sandy, so to do the beret as well is just too much visually. It would just melt the model in your eyes. What you making, brother? I am building Chief Librarian Tigurius, and then we will be building some Space Marine Scouts. And also, hello Adam, how you doing? Ah. Okay. Piece number 1. What chapter will the scouts be? Well, that's up to you guys. What do you want them to be? Is this because of the SM2 influence? No, it's because I'm really into the idea of kill teams. So like, I'm gonna be this week. I'm gonna be priming my Kassakin, because I think it'd be nice to have a bunch of kill teams. Hello, Vince W. Atlantean spears were a big mix-up. Yeah, conceivably, it's possible. Blood Angels because you don't have any tutorials for Blood Angel Scouts. Do you really want more Blood Angels tutorials? Do you really want that? I bet you could get ChatGPT to write that video by now. Also, if I do that, I'll have to throw out the other 40 Blood Angel Scouts I already have. You know? The metal ones. Would you recommend if I wanted to make a Blood Angel Scout kill team? Well, I mean, it's... I can tell you out loud now how to paint them. Blood Angel's red for the armor, Skeleton Horde for the clothes. Black for literally everything else. Done. This doesn't make any sense to me. I have a question. What camera do you use? This is a Sony A6700. However, the majority of my painting tutorials were filmed on an iPhone. Various different degrees of iPhone. So all of... Not last year, but the year before's ones were done on a... 14 Pro. I'm currently on a 15 Pro, so up until when I bought this camera, I can't remember when I got this, it would have been March, April, that kind of time. You make that sound so much easier than it would be. I know. I'll have a think about it. The thing is I've been saddened by the Blood Angels recently. And like I said, I've got like 400 Blood Angels models, and as a consequence of this codex, like a full quarter of them are now no longer valid. They all go in the bin, basically. So it's like, ugh. I'm not really in the habit of repainting my armies, as it were. I will stream 2 in German and I search for a camera. Yeah, this is a Sony A6700. It's a good camera. That one over there, this one is a Sony A6300. Paint the Scout silver and blue with gold trim. What's that one? A Dark Angels kill team. Again, it's the same thing as Blood Angels. You just swap the Blood Angels red for Dark Angels green. Hey, Squigburger. Are the cameras better than Liam's? If so, can we tell him? No, they're not better than Liam's. Liam's are better than mine. He also has many more of them. I have one camera. So this one is probably about equal. The overhead camera is about equal to one of Liam's. But Liam has like 6 of them. So he wins. How on earth does this model go together? It doesn't make any sense. I'm just going to keep building the pieces. Component number 3. And we need number 2 as well. Hello there, just recently found your channel, also a creator here. Since we're talking cameras, do you use dummy batteries for all of them and all HDMI in? Tech Talk, sorry. Yeah, no, I do. So it's dummy batteries because I don't want to... you basically, like... So with cameras such as this one, the slightly newer ones, right, is you can charge batteries within cameras, right? So if you've got a USB port, so if you've got if you've got a power through cable, you can charge a battery in the camera, which is why it's absolutely fine. However, you run the risk of batteries actually swelling and leaking or exploding or just becoming defunct. So actually using a dummy battery is better because there's nothing in there that can really break. So I would recommend using a dummy battery. One, because you could also just go for longer and it won't just die on you at a surprising point. And then, yeah, we are micro HDMI in and out. I've got an Elgato capture card in here, which is what this one's going into now. And then that one over there is in a cam link, just to keep them separate. So if the capture card dies or doesn't work, then I don't lose both the feeds. But yeah, dummy batteries in. It's just the most stable that I found it to be. I had overheating issues a lot. Yeah, so what I got was I got this little what's it called, Ulanzi camera fan. So it's just, it goes in the body of the camera, and it just keeps things cool. Because I need it to work under all conditions, because I film all day pretty much. All day, every day. This is an old one at the moment. Oh, we're only building old models today, actually. We're not building anything new. Okay. That was very strange. If a model has a lot of one colour, could you airbrush contrast paints on and get a similar contrast effect as if applying it by brush, assuming you do not flood it, etc.? Yeah, vaguely. I mean, they don't do as much of a contrasting effect if you airbrush them, but they are very good through an airbrush. I haven't done enough of that though, because I don't use an airbrush. So I'm not the world's #1 expert on it. Would be my answer to that. Okay, that's actually starting to make sense to me now. But yeah, you can do it. It won't be as much of a contrasting effect, but it still looks good. There we go. What is this model? Chaplain. No, this is Chief Librarian Tigurius. He is an Ultramarine, so we are on the bandwagon in some ways. Good evening, Stoogie. Membership's still playing up. Wow. Are they really? That's an absolute bummer. For those of you who can and want to, you can, of course, support the channel even further by becoming a member or gifting some memberships, if it works for you. But as Edward says, it's still not working 100% correctly. And also, you can super chat if you would like to support the channel a little bit further. But as always, if you could please leave a like on the stream. It's the second time I've said that in one. I'm almost becoming a full proper YouTuber. We want to get to 50 likes, and we're already at 46. Do you think it's a problem if someone likes to paint but doesn't like to play 40k? Absolutely not, Teleki. That's absolutely perfectly fine. I don't like to play 40k. Captain Mannings, thank you very much for being a member for 17 months. 17 whole months. Love your face. Aw. I love your face too. And I can say that because I've seen your face. In person, in real life, IRL. They haven't released the rules for building teams in New Kill Team, which is why you are pretty much only getting Aquilons and Vespers right now. Laura, thank you very much for being a member for 15 months. I always forget about the Milestones super chats. Yeah, I have them turned on. We should celebrate our milestones together. Always. Mr. Josh, do you ever do tournaments, either 40k, AOS, or other systems? Okay, I haven't done a tournament for a while, but I do have this Grand Champion trophy from a tournament I went to and won. This was 40k. I am hoping throughout the course of 4th edition Age of Sigmar to go to some tournaments. Because I haven't been to one in ages. It's been a long time since I've done one, and I want to test my mettle again. I've got trophies to win, you know. Demogorgon, thank you very much for being a member for 7 months. Ooh, shiny button. And Carlofology, a member for 16 months. Oh yeah, these are a thing. They are indeed. Beachhead Feb 2025, maybe. Possibly. I'm not sure if weirdly enough, I'm not sure if February is enough time for me to put together the most winningest Age of Sigmar army. We shall see. I'm very bad at planning that far ahead, you see. I always forget. Won't let me gift though. Okay. So gifting memberships is still broken on my channel. That's amazing. I love it. Thanks, YouTube. Let's have a look. YouTube. It might be that you just have to do it on the browser now. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, so I can gift 5 free members. That's what I can do. Yeah, it is broken on lots of channels. I think the super chat thing still works, but yeah, gifting memberships seems to be broken across YouTube. You're very welcome, Gus. Not about winning, Josh. Rule of cool. No, going to a tournament is about winning. Come on now, let's all be real. You just get the spinning wheel on a laptop. Yeah, it's bizarre. And yet you tell YouTube this, and they just go, "Nope, it's all working as intended." So I don't know what you're talking about. Lone Monkey Productions, thank you for the 1 gifted Warhipster membership. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Captain Mannerings, thank you for the 1 gifted membership. That is also very kind of you. I appreciate that. Warhipster, we should be celebrating your birthday week as Thursday is fast approaching. Indeed, it is my birthday week. I will be turning 34 on Thursday in 3 days' time, 26th of September. So we'll be streaming on Wednesday. That will be the birthday party, because on Thursday you'll get a painting video, which will be for well, I haven't decided yet. What do you guys want to see? Do you want to see? Let me just try and determine what the order of operations is here. So your choices are oh, what's it called? Well, so you're gonna have the choices of Aquilons, Vespid, and Terrain. Currently, those are the ones that will likely be finished. I go to MCP tournaments with my Sentinel just because they are one of the worst factions. No one brings them, but they look so dang cool on the tabletop. Edward, thank you very much for the 250. Only the faithful. Only the faithful. Are there any Skaven tutorials left? Not that I've filmed. I do have ones left to do. So, for example, I need to film these, the Doom Flayers, and the Warp Spark weapon batteries, and the Warp Grinder. But I need to finish these first, and then I've got some other bits I need to do this week before I can go back to Skaven. Is that a Leagues of Votan dwarf you are building? Nope. But it could be. If you were to paint the Retributors from Astartes, what colour contrast would you use? Let me look. What colour are they meant to be? It looks like they're meant to be grey. I would probably thin down some Basilicanum grey and then shade it with Nuln Oil would be what I would do. Probably like a 4-to-1 of Basilicanum grey and Lamium medium would be what I would do probably. I'm doing 40k Beachhead as part of the Great Hall invasion, taking double Redeemers as is Joe's command. Nice. Yeah, if I was to do a tournament at the moment, I wouldn't do a 40k one. I have little desire to paint 40k miniatures for my armies. And if I don't do that, both my main armies are completely trash in the game. So I don't like going to a tournament to lose 6 games of Warhammer. I like to win them. Actually, thinking about it, if you wanted to Altian 00, if you check out my Space Wolves Horus Heresy painting video, that would be another way to paint Retributors. This guy. I can't remember how I did it. It's definitely like layered Dawnstone. But that would be one way of doing it. But I can't remember the exact recipe. You'd have to go and look it up. But my Space Wolves Horus Heresy video, that would do you for Retributors. Cameron reminded me by saying Dawnstone. I want to paint my Vespids like Tarantula Hawk, so I need to figure out how to paint that bright blue over black carapace. Yeah, that's a tricky one. Without having to freehand it all. You're probably best just painting it black and then figuring out a good blue. And going in and painting that in with a layer or base paint, for example. Oh, first time seeing you live, but watching your video is crazy. Hello, Robson. Thank you for watching the videos. I really hope you guys like the Vespid video. I think you will. I feel like I did a pretty good job on the Vespid. And the Aquilons as well, to be fair. They're still in progress, so anything could happen between now and the finishing of those. Right, it's head time. Ugh. Let's do that. That looks good to me. And component 12. Lick the like button, people. Yes, indeed. Do lick the like button. We've gone past 50 likes. We are now 15 away from our next target of 69. Nice. One question and not to interrupt you. You mixing contrast paints on a wet palette? Nope. You do not want contrast paints to make contact with a wet palette. Absolutely not. I use a piece of palette paper from Games Workshop. I do not own a wet palette. The reason why is you don't want water to make contact with your contrast paints, because if you mix your contrast paints on a wet palette, the water separates out all your pigments, and also introduces a bunch of extra moisture to a paint that's already very wet. So when I do things like a 2-to-1 mix of I don't know, let's call it Lamia Medium and Black Templar. If you're doing that on a wet palette, that becomes a 2-to-1 to 15 mix of water. So you actually don't need any of the Lamia Medium in the first place. But you've put your Black Templar onto water, so what you're going to get is you're going to get a grey mess rather than the mix that you're actually going for. Because it'll leave all the heavy pigment behind in the water, and you'll end up with just like the lighter pigment from a contrast paint. So do not use a wet palette with contrast paints. You also shouldn't take a bit of contrast, put it on a palette, thin it down with a bit of water, and then apply it. Don't do that either. That's not good. Hello, Andy. But the Space Wolves grey over silver. Was not sure, to be honest. Laird with iron hands looks great. We'll learn to trust you at some point. It's okay. You should be suspicious. Always be suspicious. Don't just take my word for it. You might find something cooler. But yeah, Space Wolves grey does look great over metallics. Especially when you re-layer it. You then end up with a really lovely kind of bluish recess. And then really, really shiny panels, which is awesome. It's perfect for Hallowed Knights and Grey Knights. Now we need 14 and 10. 14 and 10. Hello, Alec man. I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Have inherited a 3,000 point Suns unpainted army. Do you have any tutorials on painting them, please, Josh? Yeah, I have. I have the Infernal Master, Araman, Magnus the Red. I think that's it. We've also got things like Screamers of Tzeentch and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of Tzeentch Demons tutorials. Yeah, there's a couple of thousand suns. Considering you are interested in Kill Team, will you be painting and previewing the sprues for Hivestorm? Yes, Andy. The sprue review is already out. So you can see that one already on the channel. That came out on Saturday. So the sprue review for that's already here. And I have painted the terrain and the Vespid. And I am in the midst of finishing off the Aquilons. I'm going to give you a little preview. Here is a Vespid. He's all painted, looking awesome, and we have an Aquilon as well. There we go. And all the terrain is done as well, apart from the equipment pack, which I haven't done yet. But as mentioned, it is 30 different bits, which would go some way to us having 500 models painted for the year. But it's a lot of things to do. It's a nice box, Squigburger. I think it's very cool. I think one of my favourite things about it as a box is how many different ways to play Kill Team are encouraged or contained within it. So there's the co-op mode, there's the solo mode, there's the 1v1 mode, there's also multiplayer mode, and there's also 4-player multiplayer. So the multiplayer mode shows you kind of ways to play 3-player Kill Team or 4-player Kill Team, which is just really nice. I think it's a nice all-encompassing way of getting people to enjoy the game without having to kind of home rule it or anything like that. So a bunch of people can enjoy that game in different ways, which is really cool. I think that's fantastic. And the 2 kill teams you get in it, and the amount of terrain as well is also very nice. There's just lots and lots of stuff to enjoy about that box. Yeah, that looks about right to me. Boo boo boo. Just leave that to dry for the moment. Leave it to bond. What we can probably do is actually attach some stuff to his body. Apparently this just goes right there. This is the second time I've built this model, and I built it when it first came out, and I cannot remember anything about it. Yeah. It goes in at a slightly weird angle. So you want to put it in like that. So now we need to put this arm in. There we go. And then we're just going to stick him down to the base. Is Tigurius Primaris sized? He is indeed. Right, apparently according to the instructions there's an order of operations here. We need to do component 11, followed by 13, followed by 17. I'll believe that when I say it. So this shoulder goes on there like that. Then we do number 13. Hello, you male Langmar. Don't worry. There's no such thing as being late to the stream. It's just nice that you're here. we go. And now the banner goes on. With its connection points in all the worst places. Domes of backpacks. Spindly details. How on earth are you supposed to get that bit of flash off of that without bending the U? I have to do it really close to my body because I can't see otherwise. There we go. Then we had a connection point there. Another one there. And then we had 2 on each of the domes as well. Hooray! Now watch as this backpack does not go onto the model. Guarantee you. Oh no, I was wrong. I thought for sure that those shoulders were going to block it. Which is usually what happens when they're like, hey, glue the shoulders on first, then put the backpack on. And you're like, yeah, okay. And then it's like, yep, now the backpack won't go on. Have fun. There you go. One Space Marine down. So next up, we're going to build some scouts, but we're going to have a little rest before we do that. Do you ever paint on sub-assembly, or do you like to always paint fully assembled? I never paint in sub-assembly. The only times I paint in sub-assembly is when you see it in videos. Yeah. I paint fully assembled. Sub-assembly generally tends to create more work. It doesn't actually make it easier to paint. You end up painting for longer because you're painting more details, especially ones that you're not actually ever going to see. So when you paint like I do, where you put all the contrast on and then you highlight everything, if you're highlighting the inside part of a magazine, you're never going to see it, and you're going to glue it on, and it's just going to be gone forever. So all that time you spent doing that is time you could have not spent doing that, doing something else. Which is why I don't do it. To all on for that, how do you paint, for example, Space Marine chests behind a bolt gun? Well, but that's the question, 8-Shot, is do you need to? If you can't see it, if it's covered up by the gun, it doesn't need painting. And like, even it's so like, so I paint at all angles, right? So like, for example, if I show you on this Aquilon, so this Aquilon has got his gun across his chest. See? So you can get at those bits to the point of where there's nothing you can't see. So even from that angle, right? See? So you just put your brush in and play it. But all it needs at that point is just get its base and its shading on. I don't need to highlight the underside of the melter gun on the inside here because you're never going to see it. I'm never going to see it. You're never going to see it. So that is time spent doing other things. Then you've also got to there's a lesson in priming smaller details is much harder because it's more prone to mess ups. As Carl has said there, you also lose sub-assemblies. That can happen all the time. And yeah, so this is the same. It's just if you can't get a brush to it, you can't see it. That's the thing. So I can get my brush in there. I like to know it's painted even if I don't see it. Maybe that's just me being compulsive. I mean, a little bit. Because from my perspective, that would mean that it's actually also the challenge I would make to you is do you paint the inside of do you paint the inside of a Space Marine's pauldron? You do. So you leave the pauldrons off as well. So for example, so in here, so for this, you just don't. So you would paint right in there, even though it gets glued, and the glue will melt your paint job. There's a whole subreddit about painting details on models that will never be seen. It's fine. Yeah, each to their own. Everybody does what they want to do in the hobby. For me, the way I paint and the way I hobby and the way I do things is for me because I have to paint a lot to make a lot of videos. Spending tons of time that I don't need to spend on things is basically just me shooting my own channel in the foot, right? I paint up inside it when it's glued. Yeah, I do that. So, like, on the underside of Tigurius's pauldron, I'll get in there. I get in there. I do everything that I can see. And if I can see it, I paint it. But I also don't need to I don't need to base, shade, layer, highlight, spot highlight the inner part of a cloak behind a boot that is never ever going to be seen by anyone ever. I just don't need to do it. This is the thing. So I don't do sub-assemblies. I don't magnetize models. I don't green stuff gap fill. I don't drill barrels. I don't do all of that stuff because that's spending more. I don't zenithal prime. I don't do any of that stuff because it's putting a lot of time investment in places where I don't want to put time investment. I want to spend my time painting. I don't want to spend my time building. Because I don't like building. Building for me is the worst part of this hobby, followed up shortly by priming. So doing anything that makes building and priming worse for me, that takes longer to do that, for absolutely minimal gains, I just don't do it. To me, there's no point. Right, what size bases are scouts on? 28mm bases? What is this? What is this nonsense? What is this new devilry? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a 25mm for sure. That's a 28mm base. I might have sub-assembled on a large base. Yeah, look, I would never tell anyone not to sub-assemble. I just don't like it when people tell me I have to. Because when I go, you should have sub-assembled that. Well, it's painted. So, no. You can't paint that model unless it's sub-assembled. Well, I've done it, so I disagree. That is invariably how that conversation goes. You can't do this unless you do this. Well, I've done it, so that's not true. Wondering when you prime your models, do you use a spray can or an airbrush? I use a spray can. I use spray cans to paint prime my models. The best example of that in the world, was Archaon. I was told you cannot physically, it's physically impossible to paint Archaon fully assembled. I have a video that is an hour and nearly 2 hours long, I think, of me painting it fully assembled, and there are comments on that video saying, you can't do this, this is impossible. It's like, well, I've done it. Literally, there's video evidence. So no, it's not impossible. It is in fact possible. Is it the sensible thing to do? Granted, in some cases, no, it's not the sensible thing to do. Of course it's not. Like, if you had a model that was like, hello, I am model, and here is my shield, and he holds it like that, just like that, you would be like, it's probably sensible to not have the shield on, so you can actually paint in and around it. Of course it is. Absolutely, it makes sense at certain points. But on other models, it becomes this thing about subassembly and magnetizing and all this kind of thing. It's become this kind of cult in and of itself. It's like zenithal priming. If you zenithal prime a miniature and then put a base paint over the top of it, you wasted all that time. You achieved nothing. Because if you prime it black and then white and then put Mephiston red over, you've applied a flat color over the top of a gradient, which is opaque, so it covers the zenithal. So what was the point? It didn't do anything. If you apply a translucent paint, like a Blood Angel's red over the top, then it makes sense. So how many scouts are getting new bases? None of my scouts. None of my scouts will get new bases. I'm not doing it. I refuse. Yes, Colonel. Yes. I had somebody in my Instagram messages the other day telling me that my content must be AI because you can't do those things. And I'm like, well, I can. And I have. It's... Probably already been asked, but do you have a rough idea for when a painting tutorial for the Vespids will be up? PS, love your work. Always come to you for any of the new boxes I get. Thank you, Art of Mojo. It will be up this week. Yeah, the person on Instagram's opening message was, "Be honest. Do you really paint fully assembled?" I'm like, yeah, it's on camera. How can it? How can I? I can't fake that. It's a compliment in a way. Well, yeah, it is. But look, we all get blind by things that we do, right? So sometimes, and I had to figure this out the other day, right? So I was painting Aranarth, that new MESBG model, the one that comes as a set with Argadir, and I was looking at the model and I was trying to figure out how to paint the cloak. Like, what color do I paint the cloak? And I was sat and I was mixing and mixing and mixing and mixing and mixing and trying to get the right color, and it just wasn't coming. And I was like, well, maybe I can't just do this model. And then I was like, well, now hold on, I'm being blinded by the fact that I always do everything with contrast. Let's just use Incubi Darkness. It's literally right there. So I did. And I think it came out pretty well. But that's it, and that's it. Is you get if you get into a practice of the only way. So if you end up with a thing of the only way you can get an effective contrast scheme is by doing slap chop. As soon as you see someone do it without that, you're like, no, that can't possibly be true, because the only way you can do this is by doing it this way, right? And you just get stuck with that thing, even if you see the video evidence of no, that's not how that works. So there's multiple different ways to approach different things in different times and different techniques. So it's insane to just be so blinded by, or have such a narrow field of vision for these things, because everything is possible and anything is possible, you know? Your voice is so soothing, it's like I took sleep meds. Thank you, Bahamut Bard. A lot of people tell me that. And there's a couple of individuals that use my videos as their tranquilizers. And I like that. That makes me happy. The idea of just whispering sweet nothings in your ear as you sleep. Okay, let's get a scout squad kill team started, shall we? So there's 2 sprues and they are exactly the same. So we are just going to get at least a couple of these built because we've got about an hour left of the stream. So if anybody wants to drop a super chat or a gifted membership or become a member themselves, please do in the next 45 to an hour. We need some specific components. We need A26 and A25, and already 26 is there and 25 is nowhere to be seen. Wow, what a dumb sprue. Okay, right, so check this out. The first thing you do in the Scout Squad kill team is you need component 26 and 25. There's component 26, right? Component 26. Component 25 is on the other sprue. There. And it's there. Why? Have you talked about the new MESBG starter set? I'm very excited for it. Yeah, we've talked about it very briefly. I think it looks great. There's not really a lot else to say about it at this point. Other than it's cool and it looks great and I can't wait to see more. That happens quite a bit in the scout sprues. Yeah. I hate dumb sprues. I really do. Like, say what you want about how a model looks. You might have the best model in the world, but if the sprue is stupid, that to me is not the marker of a good timeout. Because I'm a fat-thumbed builder who doesn't like it. That's one of the reasons why I make those sprue reviews. I make the sprue reviews for other fat-thumbed builders who are thinking about purchasing a box. And it might be that if it's a really dumb sprue with loads and loads of cleanup, that is enough to put you off doing something. It's enough to put me off doing something. You know? Because building sucks. Painting's fun. We like painting round here. Okay. Let's go on a hunt for some legs now, shall we? We need component 28, which is on 1 sprue. But why put them together, you know? God damn it. 28 is on 1 sprue. And 27 is on the other. Way! So this is one of those. This is one of those videos where if I had Sprue reviewed it, what you would see is you would see like each scout took me 25 minutes to build, and you'd be thinking, why does it take you 25 minutes to build each scout? Are you like the worst hobbyist in the world? What's wrong with you? And then you would get your own box of the scouts, and you'd be like, oh, I see. 14 minutes of that was spent looking for components because they're scattered all over the sprue. They're not in just one corner where you go, you need all your sergeant components? There they are. You need you know, individual A, they're all there. Individual B, they're all there. Or, like when you get a sprue like the Vespid, which was, you know, again, components are scattered across all three sprues, but generally with the Vespid, it's like all the wings are on this one sprue. So you know which sprue to go to get the piece that you need for your next build, next part of the build. I always like that. I think it's a nice organized way of doing things. It just makes the it just makes the building part and, you know, the implementation of building at that point more of a simple thing to do, you know, because, you know, if I wanted to play Where's Wally, I would buy a Where's Wally book instead of having to look for component 6 in a sea of legs. And because Games Workshop sprues aren't like a line with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then all the pieces lined up like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like, here's 27 and here's 28, but this one's got a leg next to it which could also be 28. You don't know. You'll find out though. You'll find out once you try and dry fit it that it doesn't actually fit there. So then you have to clip off a different leg and use that one, and have to remember that you clipped off component 6. Jacob, thank you very much for the 10. Not much, but thanking you for Breaker Boss and Trug painting guides. Are you going to be doing any Necromunda paint guides in the future with the new releases? At the moment, I don't have any plans to do any Necromunda because I don't have any of it. But never say never. We shall see. As always, I am completely guided by time. And my lack thereof. Good evening, Marley. Hope you're well. So like when it comes to like a big box, like this Kill Team box, right? If I didn't think that I would be able to paint all of the terrain and both the kill teams, I probably wouldn't do it. And some people say, you know, why not just build like one model? And you go, yeah, cool. I'll end up with 2 sprues of 9 models. See what I mean? And you don't. Who wants to have that? Got any nice birthday plans? Yeah, Alice and I are going to go for dinner, which will be nice. On Thursday. Otherwise, I'm going to be working. I got Kill Team videos to do this week, you know. Oh, the absolute holy grail of a sprue and build instructions where it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's absolute holy grail. I love that so much because you could then you don't need the instructions at that point. You can just clip all the pieces out, clean them all up, and then build it because you know it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But when it's like start with component 1 and then component 56, and you're like, "Oh, for God's sake!" He has a little com thing, so we need A75 as our next component. There it is. And don't work too hard. I can't help it, Rich. It's a cool little bit. And then A69 as well. Do with that what you will. We're looking for a pistol holster. There we go. A69. Rather foolishly, I was born in September, which, had I known I was going to end up being a Warhammer content creator, the last few years have proven out that September, October, November are when things are just mad busy. Well, it's really June till November. So, like, if you think of what we've had so far, we've had Skaven Tide, we've had a new edition of Age of Sigmar, we now have a new edition of Kill Team, and it looks like a new edition of Middle-earth Strategy Battle Game is also on the way very, very shortly. So all of that is happening in a period of like 3 to 4 months, which is a lot of stuff. And it's all stuff that I'm interested in, want to build and paint and do all of. So, you know, we're also, you know, we are still a small little channel, climbing our way to the hallowed 100,000 mark. I'll take a month off when we get to 100k, honestly. How long did it take to paint all 10 storm vermin? It took me... It took me something like 16 hours, something like that. We need A32 now, which is his chainsword. Do you remember your first subscriber? Your 1000th? I remember my first subscriber because it was me. What YouTube doesn't do is it doesn't keep a record of everybody who subscribes to you. who they are, especially if you've got it turned off, that people can see your name. So I can only see like the past 90 days worth of people who subscribed, and even then I can only see small amounts of their names, because some people have it, I want to be anonymous. I don't want people to know which channels I subscribe to, as it were. Yeah, that makes sense. Come on, don't block now. Thank you. Needing a ladder to get to some of your hobby storage is fine, right? Yeah. I'd say you're probably doing it right. We need A33. Good luck finding it, though. Oh, there we go. Currently, I have a 3-foot tall stack of RUVs, really useful boxes, on top of a 6-foot shelving unit. That's where I'm hoping to get to. So when we move, what I'd like is a room which doesn't have sloped ceilings, so that I can stack everything up rather than like everything being at waist height. Which is what we'd have to do here if we were to stack everything up. Because it comes up to like kind of like there on me, just under my, just under my boob. Thoughts on Battle of Edoras, Mr. the Warhipster? Yep, looks great. And we don't know enough about it yet to be able to pass enough judgment. I think it looks cool, though. I am much excited for it. Being able to add more stuff to my Rohirrim collection is always a good thing. We need our head. It looks like... I can't tell which head they've gone for. I don't like the choice. Bearded. So that'd be A84. Yeah, we'll go for the same then. What's the reason behind building scouts? No, it's not because of Space Marine 2. It's because of Kill Team. I'm interested in it. I think it looks really cool. And it'd be nice to have a couple of kill teams banded about the house. so that should I ever make some friends who want to play the game, we can do so. Is it just me or do these heads look too big as per usual with the scouts? Let's get the shoulders on. 77. Oh yay, it's a dumb angled arm. Where the shoulder's not gonna stick. I really hate building miniatures. Especially if you're going to just scatter these things all over the place. And they're going to mislabel it in the instructions. Good. Good. They say it's component 78, but it's actually 79 because it's the one that's got the little paper on it. There we go. We built a scout. And that took like 20 minutes. I need to adjust my seating position because my leg is going to sleep. Ow. Oh, it's also been raining a lot today here, so the window has to be closed, so it's baking hot in this room. There's nothing more disappointing than pulling out a sprue that's dumb. I kind of just don't want to build these anymore because it's a really, really dumb sprue. But now that I've built one, I have to build all of them because otherwise we'll end up with just one built model and nine on sprue. In some ways, that's put me in a bad mood. What's next? A heavy bolter in 15 parts. Yep. Then the sniper. Then a dude with a bolt gun. And a dude with a bolt gun. Yeah. I think we're just going to talk to each other for the last part of this stream, guys. I've been enraged by building a stupid sprue. It's the way it goes. Get out of here. Do you think the kill team sculptors are told to punish the hobbyists because they only need 10 models? No, I genuinely think sometimes people, they just don't think about it. And also, like, the actual construction of the sprue, it depends on how many kind of iterations it's gone through for them to get it to work. If there's minimal... Let's have a look. Let's see. So this sprue went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It went through 6 different version numbers before we got this one, for it to work the way it does. So when you see it, so if I show you this, so on a sprue, if you look in the, so if you look at here. You see these little studs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are version numbers of the sprue. So when you see something that's got like 15 of these, you know it's been back and forth constantly between prototyping and all this kind of thing. So this has been through 6 versions because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So after 6 iterations of trying to get this sprue to work, they settled on this as the layout, and it doesn't kind of... It's not full of mold lines, or it doesn't snap, or it's not insecure, and all this, that, and the other. So it's pretty cool. So that's yeah, that's vaguely what it means. When you see a sprue that has had like 2 or 3 versions, and it's a dumb sprue, it's like, could you not have tried a little bit better? When you see one that's got like a ton of different versions on it, it's like, okay, yeah, it's the best it's ever going to be. With 3D printing often producing whole models without the need to build, would you be tempted? Not really. I don't think they're as they're not as good yet. 3D printers, I don't think. I would always pick a plastic model. Like, I hate building, right? But like, I don't want to 3D print cheap knockoffs. And I definitely don't want to print one that's a definite replication of a model, because that is copyright theft. Have you tried the new Kill Team solo rules? Can you talk about them? I can talk about them. I haven't tried them. I like it. The way it kind of works is you there's kind of like an in-game currency that the bots have. So you generate NPCs for your kill team to fight based on how many of these points that you have, and it's random every turn. So you pump out, and you have a set of profiles, which aren't like, here's a gene stealer, here's a Hormagorn. They haven't done that. What they've gone is they've said, they give you quite a lot of leeway in that they go, here is the profiles and the kind of behavior that these things will exhibit, and you can then determine what those models and things will look like. So, for example, it will be like you know, a like kind of a level 3. This is incorrect, right? But it'll be like a level 3 brawler could, for example, be a Tyranid warrior, or it could be a Chaos Space Marine, and so on and so forth. So it's just like, here's suggestions, but you don't have. There's not like a, this is what this does, and this is what that does, and this is what this does, and this is what that does. Do you know what I mean? It's nice. How do you see how many times a sprue has been redesigned? You look at a sprue. Any sprue will do. In fact, here's the Tigurius one. This is the Tigurius one that we built earlier. So this one has been through, and you look for these, and it'll always be in a corner of a sprue. It'll only be on one sprue in a kit as well, I should point out, usually. This one has been through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as well. So 6 redesigns. That one might be, so it might be 7 actually. Yeah, I think this one's been through 7. But yeah, that's what you look for. So you can theme it to a particular setting to suit your taste. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's basically just like, yeah, pretty much. And like, you could, for example, just pick the hardest level and then just be like, we're going to spend 50 or something, 50 of our in-game currency to put a Norn emissary down, and our kill team has to take it down. See what I mean? You could do it that way. It's really broad in a really good way. I think it's nice. And you get a couple of missions in there, but obviously you could change that however you like. And they've done it for Gallo Dark as well. It's the same thing. So they give you a recommendation of missions you can play in Gallo Dark, so indoors with all the walls, or you can do it with this new stuff and general terrain. Redesigns are usually due to production problems, though, right? Like, plastic isn't getting to this bit and it's not coming out right. Yeah, exactly. Or it's not when you're injection molding it. The plastic is leaking, or not enough is getting there, or it makes it puts, when you try and then build the miniature, when you try and clip things off, it puts a load of stress somewhere else. So it's why sometimes you'll see something like a big monster kit, and it'll be for the most part it'll make sense, but then there'll just be a toe that will be in the corner, and it'll be far away from the leg, which is why it's there. It's been done that way because it's been in order to make the sprue work. For the Aquilons, did you choose an alternate scheme from the box, and if so, what went into that decision? Yes, James. So for what I did is I chose this scheme, which is a evolution of the Harakoni Warhawks video that we did for Cadian Shock Troops. And the reason why is because Harakoni Warhawks specialize in exactly this drop. They're kind of like Elysian drop troops in some ways, but they're a Cadian regiment that they're an Imperial Guard regiment that specializes in orbital insertion and all this kind of thing. And I just looked at them and I thought, do you know what? They would look really cool like that. So that's what I've done. I just wanted to do that because I thought it would be cooler. And also, like, on the channel before, we've done Tempestus Scions in the 55th Capic Eagles, or 44th, or whatever it is. Capic Eagles like that. So I thought I could do it like this if I wanted to, but then I thought, do you know what? I actually really like this as a scheme. I think it looks awesome. So I thought we'd just go for it. And I think it looks fantastic. Because otherwise I would have done this. because this is essentially the box art but reversed. So they don't have the bone on the pants, but what they do have is they've gone for this sort of teal color on the pants, and then they put black armor on it. It's too dark overall and moves muddy. Exactly, right? So I went for this because I think it just looks really striking. I think it looks cool. I like it. Pants bone? Exactly, Leaks Veeks. I misspoke, maybe. Mayhaps. The Kroot, I just went for the box art because not Kroot. These are Vespid. Vespid, we just went for the box art because I really like the scheme. I think it looks great. I'm really pleased with how that's come out. I think you guys will like the video as well. I hope you will. It'll be out this week. You love the orange Vespids. Yeah, I see. I really like it as well. And like, you don't see enough orange miniatures in Warhammer. So, I was like, yeah, well, definitely going to do them in the orange. Any guesses as to how I painted them? I'll tell you if you guess it right. What colours do you think we did? Start with the primer, guys. Come on. Oh, you're so close, Flying Muttley. Yeah. So you're right. Fake Street Spirit, Katara, you're both right. Wraithbone. Yeah. I know you did them in sub-assemblies because otherwise it's just not possible. Exactly. Yeah. So we primed them in Wraithbone, and you were right on the first count. The first colour is Gryph-hound Orange. Primed in silver. It is Gryph-hound Orange. What do you think the next colour on the orange was? I'll put it back on the screen for you. There you go. There you go. There's 4. No. I'm going to give you a hint. You have already guessed what the colour is. No, it's not Magmadroth. It's the other one. Bingo! Marley got it. Gryph-hound in a second coat. There is then a third colour. A third colour that is used very sparingly on the flesh, on the carapace. And you have already guessed that as well. You've guessed what tone it is, but which one of the 3 reds is it? Calgar blue. Shit. Mayhem and NC did write it. Okay. So the skin, the carapace, you're going to love this. This is why you're going to really enjoy this video. I hope you're going to really enjoy this video, right? The carapace, and you'll see it all very, very soon, is Gryph-hound Orange. It's primed in Wraithbone. It's then Gryph-hound Orange, followed by Gryph-hound Orange, followed by a little bit of Blood Angels Red on the knees and on the shoulders. And that's it. There is no highlights on there at all. No dry brush whatsoever. Nope. This is why you're going to like this video. Because it's really simple. It's really, really, really simple. Yeah, no, I love putting it together. Because after I did the second layer of Gryph-hound Orange, I was like, these don't need a highlight. They really don't. We're just going to be highlighting for highlight's sake on these if I do that. So yeah, I think you're going to enjoy that one. When can we get more guys that don't highlight or dry brush asking for a friend? Well, we shall see. I will do more of them based on the models themselves. It's usually, I usually let the model inform me how it goes. Because sometimes you do it and you're like, it can still use just a little bit of extra highlighting. But sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, Vespid, easy. Very easy. Did you have to do any cleanup on the wings? No, I didn't have to. I thought they were generally quite easy to get around. There's one which is a little tough to get around. It's the Strain Leader. Because his wings are down by his sides. So the only one that's really kind of a little bit tough to get at all the areas. It's not impossible, obviously, but it's this guy here. This one. It's just a little bit more tricky to get in around those areas because his wings are right down like this. But it's not too difficult. The rest of them, they've all got their wings up, which is nice. But that's how we roll. Yeah, those videos are coming out this week. Theoretically, we should have 3 painting videos for you this week. Well, there is 3. It's just what order do you want them in? Do you want Vespid tomorrow? Aquilons tomorrow? Terrain tomorrow? Which one do you want? How would you describe their wings again? Up? Yeah, they're all up. You want the Vespid video tomorrow? Yeah, we can probably make that work. And you want the Aquilons video tomorrow. But you can't have both. Mostly because if I upload 2 videos in a day, you won't see both. Saviors of Cinderfall. I would have to pull an absolute blinder tonight to get that video out tomorrow. Yeah, I Saviors of Cinderfall are there, they are on the list, they are built, they are primed, they are ready to go. It's, you know, again, time is of the essence. And I don't have any at the moment. So I haven't been able to do them. But we will get around to them. I'm going to try and get them done this year. Things should quieten down, hopefully, in November. It usually does for a couple of weeks. How much time do you spend daily on this channel? 12 to 16 hours of the day? Typically. We've got to get to 600 models painted this year. I think we're going to do it for the first time. I think we're going to do it. It certainly helped that the Scaventide box had 40 clan rats. As much as I disliked doing 40 clan rats, it certainly helped that that was a thing. I'll do. 1,000 models, man. And not in a year. I love all your videos. It's a thing that keeps me going. Greetings from Spain. Oh, thank you, Procrastinator. Greetings to you from the UK. It must be quite frustrating when you're really looking forward to getting a project done and GW suddenly drop a big release on you. Well, it depends on the release, right? I mean, like, if the release is really cool, I'm not really like in a situation where I'm building and painting for like events, for example. Not really. I haven't done that for a long time. So like, when it comes to like doing projects, it's a case of like they can all just kind of sit on the back burner. The stressful part is when I want to do something to like finish off an army, for example, and it's only like bits and bobs that are left to do. So what I have to be much better at is, and I have been much better at it recently, is whilst I might think, let's say, the Astra Militarum next, that would be a great example, right? Let's say that the Astra Militarum next year, when that comes out, and they've said it's going to be Death Core of Krieg, right? So when that box drops, and I'm really excited for that because I do love the Astra Militarum. So when the Astra Militarum stuff does come out, what I've learnt is that I simply do not have time to buy 2 of those boxes in order to do a Death Korps of Krieg army, because I'll buy them and then they'll just be here. That's the end of it. It just ends up sitting there in the house. So when I go, oh yeah, the Cadians are really cool. For example, I bought a heavy weapons team, 2 boxes of Cadian shock troops, and something else. I bought another thing as well. And I bought all that stuff in order to do more videos. But after Astra Militarum came out, there was then Slaves to Darkness, or whatever it was that came next. Can we have the Iridan the Witness painting video tomorrow? You could if I had that model. I do not have that model. So yeah, it's if you just wait around long enough, you end up with the projects being finished anyway. If you don't, especially in my position where you do have that partnership with Games Workshop, it took 3 to 4 years, but I have many points of Slaves to Darkness, and I haven't done that stuff for the Cadians. But if they do send me the Death Korps of Krieg army set, that will probably round out a 2,000 point army of Astra Militarum, which is great. I then have a playable army of 2,000 points. Is it competitive? No. Is it the most competitive rule set the game has ever seen? Yes. Does that mean it will be good? No. So, like, Skaven Tide is a great example of what I want to do is pick up several boxes of Prosecutors and Reclusians, because Prosecutors and Reclusians are really good, and I really like the models, and I think they're fantastic. And I would like to do an entire Ruination Chamber army. I would like to do that, but I can't. I do not and will not have the time to do it. Because in order to do that, I'd have to pick up, if we reinforce a box of Reclusians, that makes a unit of 6, and they're like 170 points or something for free. How many points are Reclusians in this day and age, in this economy? Let's have a look, shall we? We're in the wrong one. There we are. Reclusians are 150 points. So you reinforce them to make them a unit of 6 with 4 Memorians, and that makes them a 300 point unit. So 3, 6, 9, 12. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So even if I was to do a full army of Reclusians, I would have to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes and paint multiple Reclusians, which I can't do. I just don't. I flat will not have the time. And whilst I could have the time to paint all of those Reclusians, I can't make videos about any of it. So if I took a month off to paint Reclusians, that's a month where there's no videos. You see what I mean? So it becomes this thing of like, it's not sensible to go, and it's not sensible to do it, because I'm growing a YouTube channel. I'm growing a business. We're 69,394 subscribers, which is an incredible number. My goal for the year is 75k, which would be amazing. We could do it. I don't think we will. I think we'll get to sort of maybe 72, possibly 73,000. Which you then have to look at the end of the year and go, what happened? You'd have one video titled, I took a month off to paint one unit. Yeah. How many of those 2,000 points would be shot by their commissar for insubordination? Most of them. Because we would play it very fluffily. Every time they didn't do what I wanted them to do, I would have my commissar murder one. Doctors hate him for painting this one unit. You'll never believe which one. One day I'll make a video like that. One day. Just for fun. That would be amusing. Anyway, guys, it is now 7:45, which is our typical time for finishing our Me Time Monday stream. So we are going to bounce off, and I'm going to go and have some dinner, and then I'm going to come upstairs, and then I'm going to finish painting some Aquilons, so that we have the Kill Team box ready to go for everybody. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much for 77 likes. You smashed it. We didn't get to 100, but that's okay. You hit 2 of the goals. Thank you very much for the new memberships as well. Legends. And thank you very much for the super chats. You guys are the best audience in the world. I will be back on Wednesday for my birthday. My birthday is on Thursday, but our stream day is Wednesday. So my birthday party is on Wednesday, and you are all invited. I will see you all on Wednesday for my birthday, and there will be plenty of painting content for you this week as well. Here is the hand of farewell. I shall wave it at you, and then I shall press the end stream button. Love you all. Good night, and good afternoon, and good morning. You're the best. Bye. Love you. Bye. Love you. Bye.